Okay, so we're back in Dave's shed. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
And what have you got for us this month, Dave?
We've got the Gen SX-100, which is one of the very cheapest synthesizers and one of the most prolific. They were available through home shopping catalogues and all kinds of places, and very, very cheap. But if you want to get into repairing and modifying synths, it's a very good one to work with because they don't fetch a lot of money, and they're very easy to work on.
Were you saying earlier you've got a handful of these, or you did have?
This one's actually made up out of 4 dead ones, which is. But that's just because they turned up, you know. It's you do see them at car boot sales and things, really, really cheap. Quite often not working, but apart from one thing, easy to mend.
So says Synthesizer Dave.
Yeah. No, these really are easy to mend. For the start, I've taken the screws out, but to get the top out, it's only 2 screws there and there, and 2 more each side on the back, so that's 6 screws to take out, and then you can get inside, and all the bits you might want to work on are there. And then to get in under the keyboard, there's 2 more screws there and there, 2 through the bottom, and then all of that comes off, so you've got the whole thing. Now if you get one, the important the first thing to do is to see if it actually makes a noise. The one thing that can go wrong that's hard to mend is if this oscillator chip goes, which up until recently were very hard to find, but they've just started turning up again on eBay and places at around 18-20 quid. So they do seem to be turning up again.
Is that because somebody's just somewhere started to manufacture?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It could be that someone's just unearthed a batch. I needed one, and I actually managed to track down 4 from a retired repairer in Estonia, which is the wonders of the internet. You can actually do that now. There are 2 other things that famously go wrong that are very cheap and easy to fix. One is when you get it and you play a note, and it will play a note, but every note is the same. That's because of the rather peculiar way it works. The glide oscillator, which is this bit here, has to be working, and that chip sometimes burns out. But it's a standard LF351 chip, which you can buy in Maplins for £1. So it's just prise it out, plug in the new one, and it'll fix. And the other thing is you've got 3 wave shapes. You've got triangle, square, and pulse width modulation. You switch to pulse width modulation and nothing happens. And that just means replacing that other little chip under there, which is also an LF351 op-amp chip. So that's, if that doesn't work and that doesn't work, you can fix it for 2 quid. So yes, assuming that works, everything else you want to do is neatly laid out on this panel here. All these chips, they're all standard chips you can still buy, and they're all in sockets. So if anything goes wrong, you can just prise out the old one, plug in a new one, and the only thing you can possibly get round is get it upside down. And they've all got a notch at one end, which tells you what the front end is really. So as long as you look at it before you take it out, you can just plug in a new one. This board here is the oscillator board, is the filter board. That's your main envelope. This one here does the white noise. That's the glide control. This is the wave shaper that shapes your that gives you different waveforms, and it's all really simple and easy to work on. Most of these bits, if you need to replace them, you don't even have to take the boards out. You can work on them from this side. It's basic in that it's actually a digital oscillator. So the thing that's missing is you don't get pitch bend. There's no pitch bend on it. But apart from that, you've got everything a basic synth needs.
So what have you done to this one then?
This one's been through. This one I've restored to exactly as it should be. It's because I felt I should, and I've got enough bits left over to make a modified one. The modifications you can make. Some people don't like the filter. I particularly like the filter, but it's not very bassy. Everyone says it's a 12 dB per octave filter. In actual fact, if you measure it, it's very close to 24. It's a very wide ranging. Also, everyone says it won't self-oscillate, and it does. It does very nicely. But if you did want it, you can make it. There's a little capacitor just in there, and if you bypass that, it becomes a very moogie sounding filter, much more bass end on it. And it's easy enough just to put in a switch on the top to change between the two, except that the chassis is actually sheet steel, so it's very tough. So the hardest job is making the hole. You can also break the circuit just here and put a socket going out and another one coming in, so you can make it semi-modular. Or you can just feed in an external signal through the filters and the envelope generators.
So what you mean by that?
Which is actually
you
could route it out through an extra filter or a sample and hold module or whatever and feed it back in again. Or you could feed something else, anything, a voice, a guitar, through the filter section and through the envelope generator. Very easily. Its other slight strangeness is its white noise generator, which is a very bad white noise generator. It sounds like there's this odd chugging noise going on in it. I like it because I don't have another white noise oscillator like it. But like I say, that's just on that chip there. And you can pull out the chip. It's very easy to build a little simple pure white noise. In fact, I've got one somewhere. There's one. Here's one I made earlier. But you can just make that on the tiny board and just plug it in instead of the chip. But like, I like it as it is. It just sounds as it sounds.
It looks like the case is really sturdy as well.
It's
wood on that.
The whole thing is built. The company they were actually made in Italy by an accordion company. So it's all very solidly built. It's the power supply is a bit primitive, but it works. It's all it's all. The other thing you will always find if you get one is the pots go very, very crackly. It's they're famous for that, but you don't you don't have to replace them. You need a tin of this Service-All Super 10, which you just stick the tube in, squirt it inside, and just wobble it about until it stops crackling, and that will last 3 or 4 years. You know, so.
There you go, there's a recommendation.
Yeah, you very rarely have to replace them. You need patience sometimes if they're very grubby, but they will eventually clean up. Unless they're actually broken inside through something dropping on the top. Just a squirt inside will clean them all up.
So this model you have here,
Yeah.
is it working?
It's working, yes. It's completely working now. And it was out at a party over the weekend. It's which is where it's lost one of its knob covers. They always lose those as well. That's what they're almost famous for it.
That reminds me, because this was one of the first synths I ever had that I got from Kay's Catalogue and paid off over 30 weeks. Or whatever. And it came with templates.
Templates, yes, they came with. They actually came with paper templates that went over the top. There's lots of pictures of them on the internet. In fact, you can download them to print so that you can make them again. But they came with preset sounds with little markers, so you just turn things down, or blank ones, so you could save your own sounds.
So now you've lovingly restored this to factory conditions.
Well, almost.
How much would one of these set somebody back, do you reckon?
Again, it depends where you look. In good working condition, they shouldn't really be more than 200-300 quid. Having said that, I've seen them at lots more than that. I don't know if they sold at much more, but I've seen them advertised at £600-700, and that's silly. A non-working one you should pick up for way under 100. I mean, I wouldn't pay more than about 30-40 for that.
So if I found one at a car boot that wasn't working and I brought it to you,
I could almost certainly mend it.